Hey, Sonder family, welcome. Some of you have already said you've had a crummy day. You needed this time to reset. So sit back, take a couple of big O deep breaths. We are so glad, that- excuse me, that you have carved out this time to just join your Sonder community. Maybe do a little journal work. Maybe you just need to sit, and that's okay. We always say, come as you are. My name is Jennifer Ogilvy. I get to be your on screen facilitator tonight. And then my sidekick tonight is Maya Martin Glenn, and she'll be hanging out in the chat along the way. And she'll be sharing some links and that kind of stuff. So if a question comes up, and she'll point you in the right direction to get that question answered. And you don't, oh, Heather says that she just didn't want to be alone tonight. So here you are. I know we have like this beautiful, wonderful virtual community. And like as I was sitting here seeing everybody welcome each other and the song is playing Go Where the Love Is, and I thought, yep, here we are. So it's really good to see you. So yeah, it's a pretty chill evening. We're very laid back. We're gonna be able to just kind of embrace and go with the flow with our journal. There's gonna be plenty of time to work on these pages, the gratitude jar and our letters of kindness, as well as an opening activity that I'm very excited about. I'm going to invite you to share a lot tonight as you're comfortable, inspire one another, especially with our opening activity. And it's all about taking what you need. So if just hanging out, listening to some music, reading the chat is what you need, that's great. This is being recorded. You can always go back and access it. But yeah, let's just kind of dig into our evening. Make sure your chat says to everyone. That's how we will communicate with each other. I'm wondering, there might be a new person or two joining us tonight. If that's you, just drop a me in there so that we can give you a big O welcome. You guys know each other. If you come to these enough, like I said, this is a very powerful online virtual community, but man, it is something, and it's so important to so many of us. So you're going to see those familiar names over and over again. Kim, we would love to give you a big welcome to a social. We encourage you to come back, get to know us. But this is, yeah, you're going to prioritize your Sonder fam for sure. So thanks for saying, for letting us welcome you, Kim. We're glad that you're joining this group. And of course, we have Sonder Club on our app, but these chats are gold. And we always say, of course, these are recorded. You'll be able to access later. However, there's nothing like hanging out in the chat sometimes. And some of y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. You've had rough days and you've come here and you've gotten reminded of who you are and who you belong to by these great people. So, oh, it's okay. Well, welcome Danielle with your new to Silk and Sonder. So I love that. So yeah, you feel seen here for sure, Nicole. I love that. All righty. So this is always shared at the front end of our times together, our community guidelines. And it's all about being kind and courteous to ourselves and to each other. We do create safe spaces. There's always two facilitators on the call so that we can ensure that that happens in the chat. But the big reminder is that the Sonder socials are this tool to elevate your emotional health through the powers of community, but you're responsible for your own emotions, well being, and decisions. So if stuff feels tricky, hard, scratchy, itchy, it's okay to give yourself permission to say, you know what, this is an important question, but I'm not in the headspace to deal with it right now. And make yourself a promise that you'll come back to do that later when you're feeling it. So we just want you to always take good care of yourself. So of course we're embracing our new theme of kindness, new-ish. I guess we're almost heading into mid-month. We'll blink and we'll be halfway through November. But we were saying, we did some hard work with resilience and with bravery. And so kindness feels a little more gentle, maybe. But I love that we're stopping to pay attention to kindness and kindnesses in our life and how we can be kind to others, how we accept kindness, where we see kindness, right? So, um, I love this quote that I added for our social tonight. Words of kindness are more healing to a drooping heart than balm or honey. And I think some of you have shared your heart's a little droopy tonight. So we are going to have lots of words of kindness as we dig into these journal prompts with one another and support each other as we go on. So, we love a good quote, good memes. We love it. We have a really cool opening activity. We've got our gratitude jar on page 13. You may have already started working on that, but I've got a couple of things to share with you to maybe think about that gratitude jar. And then we'll do our letters of kindness on page 21. So I'm going to invite you now to turn to a blank space in your journal. Maybe you have that extra journal. Find a notes page. Perhaps you'll use the scratch pad of the week because we are so blessed that World Kindness Day is tomorrow. And we are going to really embrace this idea of world kindness. When I found that out, I was like, oh, that's the night before. We have this social the night before, and our theme is kindness, and hooray. So, World Kindness Day is a real thing, and its mission is to create a kinder world by inspiring individuals and nations to engage in acts of compassion. It started in 1997 in Tokyo, Japan, by like-minded organizations from all around the world. It began with the World Kindness Movement, which was a coalition of non-governmental organizations dedicated to promoting kindness. So we are going to take a look at that. Um, if you look at my Silk and Sonder profile where it says a celebrity that you would have dinner with, mine is Mr. Rogers. I was an early childhood educator. Love Mr. Rogers. And this quote, there are three ways to ultimate success. And the first way is to be kind. And the second way is to be kind. And the third way is to be kind. And so we're going to embrace Mr. Rogers' frame of mind with that. Again, I'm gonna invite you. I'm thinking, what did I put on page 43 here? I think because of the weekly scratch pad, for this week, our setup is on page 43. So you can turn to that and use that scratch pad or find an empty notes page. And we are going to spend some time brainstorming ways that we can all embrace World Kindness Day. And that's tomorrow. And then we want you to share your plans in the chat. So I really want to encourage you to put this pen to paper and think of all the different ways you can extend kindness and commit them to paper, because I think with this season, we can take this idea of our theme of kindness into the upcoming weeks and counter chaos with a lot of kindness. So, some ideas to think about is maybe think about a timeline of your day tomorrow, and how could you embrace this idea of noticing this kindness on the hour. You could make some personal challenges like I'm going to say something nice to 5 people, or I'm going to help a coworker with the task, or when I go for my walk, I'm taking a bag, I'm going to pick up trash in the neighborhood, or I'm going to do some snail mail tomorrow and write cards to people and brighten their day. You could this also embrace the paying it forward kind of idea. Maybe you go donate blood. This is the time of year where that's critical need. You could leave a larger than usual tip if you're going to be going out to eat, or pay for the person behind you in line. Maybe you leave an envelope with a small gift card or a little bit of cash on a shelf in a store. or buy a meal for an unhoused person and just hand it to them when you are at an intersection, or go leave positive reviews online for your favorite small business. So let's start this brainstorming idea. One of the things, I want to encourage everybody is really think, can you shop small this holiday season? That's an act of world kindness. So start thinking about that, and let's just make a list that will carry us all the way through the end of the year. I can't wait to see what you guys are going to come up with. Oh my goodness, the inspiration in the chat is beautiful. Oh my goodness, you have some lovely things listed there, and I was Luann called me out. I had shared my little worry worm at like one of my weekly setups, and this is a kindness that I found when I was caring for my mom, and we were in a medical facility, and I was tired and exhausted and felt very sad and overwhelmed. And this was in a little baggie on a sink in a public bathroom. And I went to wash my hands, and it's just laying there, and it had a little note, and it's a worry worm. And it said, if you have any worries, pick this up and know that you are not alone. And somebody, had crocheted and left it. I know they're just and I do hearts, quilted hearts, and I actually use scraps, but you can go like thrift an old quilt and just cut them into hearts, and you leave them, and it's called I found a quilted heart. It's got a little sticker on them, and you just leave them random public places for people to find. And I've been doing that for a few years, because I always had scrap fabric. But when I found this, I was like, now I know what people feel like when they find this little moment. And he's cute and he's silly and he hangs. I've got a little light here and I hang him right there. So you never know. Like the person who did this had no idea like how it hit just the right time for me. So you never know when your act of kindness is going to really be meaningful to someone. And I'm sure that person didn't know that 3 years later, this little worry worm would be talked about. So it's still paying it forward and blessing people. So you guys, as you're um working on this list, this is a great list to put in a bingo board that you just kind of tuck in your purse and make sure that you're celebrating your world, your community by these acts of kindness. But you also brought up some great points in the chat about being kind to ourselves first. So that is also gold. Those Some of those ways that, consider how you can show yourself a little extra kindness on World Kindness Day. So yeah, every November 13th, I actually saved it in my phone now so that it'll be front of mind. I am going to go to Aldi tomorrow, and I'm going to leave extra quarters in the baskets because you have to check out your baskets with quarters. So I'm going to leave those, and I'm going to get some extra food to go drop by the food pantry, because I know right now it's been pretty tough. And I really hope that those of you who are affected by our shutdown, are going to see the light at the end of the tunnel happening. I hope we're almost through that, but we're here for you. So let us give you that extra love. But thank you so much for embracing this idea of celebrating world kindness through your acts in your community. So, yeah, Kimberly, I keep extra quarters in my car anyway, so I'll go do that. I just think like and we talked about, if your heart is feeling droopy, one of the best ways to get out of a droopy heart is to think about how you can bless someone else, pay it forward, be kind to someone else, and thinking about that will really help your heart feel not quite as droopy. So I'm glad. Thank you for just supporting each other and giving these fabulous ideas. My hand was just writing. So, anyhow, we're almost there. So now I want to talk about our gratitude jar. And we have these so often. We always have a gratitude reflection page in our journal every single month. So it's either a gratitude list or gratitude jar. Sometimes we'll do like the gumball thing. And so I know many of you do this as a daily reflection, daily tracker. You can throw a me in there so that we can see this community is so like-minded. So you like to do it on a day by day little reflection. Some of you like to just sit. You're planning to sit tonight and start filling your jar up with a brain dump, and that's great. But I've got some things to show you. And if you have started your gratitude a day, I have a way for you to do an added reflection based on what is in your jar. So I'm going to show you some slides of this, it's kind of, you might want to take some notes if there's, for the next gratitude jar that comes your way. But you can use this as a dream jar or put your affirmations there. You could write your lyrics from a favorite song, maybe a song that makes you think kindness. You could use this as any kind of log, television, movie, blog, podcast. You could make this a fall bucket list or a holiday bucket list, as and your jar becomes a bucket. You could just do drawings, doodles, track savings, take an inventory of something. Maybe you go inventory your food and fill your jar with what's already in your pantry, or the books that you own. Again, holiday planning, a brain dump, just like I'm going to dump it in the jar, put the lid on, and we're not talking about it anymore. Things you want to try, maybe make a list of recipes, or outings to new restaurants, or, stuff maybe, especially as we're kind of wrapping up this year. Yes, a letter of gratitude in the jar. And writing that letter of gratitude to yourself, Sharon, that's again that self-love, that self-kindness. So lots of different ways to set this up. You can see somebody actually put a bingo in their jar. And then, you can track, so like that gratitude a day, or track when someone does something kind, or when you do something kind, or maybe if you're embracing World Kindness Day, all of that can go in the jar. Your daily highlights or gratitude glimmers, or just those little things that you notice could go in your gratitude jar. You can also turn this into a challenge. So maybe you save X dollars through the month, or you're going to do a step challenge, and you start filling your jar up with steps, wellness, fitness, an eat at home challenge, a routine tracker for an whatever. So you just can create like these spaces and mark them off and fill that jar up as the month goes along. You can make it any kind of a theme jar. Fill it with people that are in your life. Fill it with gratitudes for your job, and you just focus on that. And this again, if the job's feeling droopy, maybe stop and think about the good things you can see in that. Counter some of those negative thoughts that make you feel droopy with your job with the positive. What are the good things there? And that can really help your mindset turn around. You could do the things you're grateful for with your hobbies and skills, or walk through your home and write down all those things that you're grateful for, that are just in your house, that are around you. A gratitude jar for your favorite season, or maybe current challenges go here, and then what you're learning from that. And then look at this graphic, y'all. It's so, so sweet. Maybe you just draw a beautiful little graphic with your little cozy space, but you could also do a list of, brainstorm, but then every day stop and pick one of the items that you've written there, and just have like that moment of reflection time. So your jar's already full, but you're going to reflect on it and then check those things off. So have a very meaningful moment with an item. Also the idea of the self-care menu items, that self-kindness. Take what you need, fill your jar with the things that fill your heart, and then take that on tough days. Go pull from there. Daily questions and prompts could go in here. And then, of course, a happy list, a bingo board of just those simple things, or maybe that's how you're filling it on a day by day basis. And then I always love the creativity of Sonder family. So you can see how folks have just set this up, words and stickers and flowers and writing in the leaves of those flowers. And people are just so amazing and so creative. Um, Look at these. I mean, they're just They're just so good. So, right, the candy and gumballs and stickers and just lots of different ways of embracing that. I always love those ice cubes. Those always hit nice in about August, don't they? You can just do little stickers. You can just write. There's some doodles like you see in the upper left. So, someone did a song log of all the songs that are meaningful to them. So some really, really beautiful, beautiful ideas. Look at the one over there on the right, the like the gumballs, and they've colored in that negative space to really make it pop. They're so fun. Yeah, the idea of a song log, those songs, your go-to playlist, right? Of course, you can turn it into a margarita, Heather. I'd love to love to see that in Sonder Club posted. So I'm going to give you some time to work on your jar. Now, if you have been filling it up and you're 11, 12 days in looking at this gratitude every day, I want you now to take a moment for some reflection. And those things that you've already written in, I want you to ask yourself the question, what behind the scenes effort, skill, or dedication went into what you're grateful for? If you said, I'm grateful for my bed, well, what does that mean? Like, let's undo. Let's go backward. Let's reverse engineer and think about, how did that bed come to be? And all the things that had to be in place, a job. Well, gosh, you might go all the way back to my education, which led to the job that I have, which led to the paycheck, which led to me I was able to save, or I had credit enough that I could buy this bed. And then we brought it in and I want you to really unpack some of these things that you've already put into your jar and take that moment to respond. Do some free writing on that. It'll help us kind of frame out our mind, that mindset of true gratitude for the things that are in that jar. And I want you to think and just notice how it deepens your gratitude to sort of reverse engineer those things you've been putting in there. If you're writing about a relationship, there's people in your jar. Think about those people. How did they come to you? How are they in their life? How do they affect you? So let's really use these moments to be reflective on what's already in our jar, if you've been doing a gratitude a day. And if not, and you're filling your jar and you're setting that up, I'll go back through these other slides so you can see them again. And we'll just work on this for a little bit and then we'll go on to our letters. All right. I hope that you were able to have a little bit more of a attitude of mindfulness as you look at that gratitude jar. And, it's always as we fill that jar up, if you're doing that each day, take a pause and really think about everything that happened and aligned for that moment of gratitude that you were writing about. And so thank you for working on this reflection with us. And now we'll take a look at the letters of kindness, which is on page 21. And those directions tell us, imagine that each one of these envelopes holds a special message just for you. So think about, what do you need to hear? Write down an affirmation inside each envelope that reminds you of your strength and your love and your worth. And so I wanted to spend just a moment to remind you why these affirmations, we have a daily affirmation in the Sonder Club, why they're important. There is that Pygmalion effect, the self fulfilling prophecy, that law of attraction, the stuff we put out into this world, that juju that comes back, that attitude of fake it till you make it. Now, that doesn't mean to push aside what's happening. I mean, life is in real time, and sometimes stuff is tough and hard, and it doesn't mean to dismiss those things. But when we can really focus in on affirmations, it can create this cycle where we have our brain programmed to take our beliefs and our expectations and the behavior and the results that will just feed right back. And it makes like this circle in our brain when we learn how to embrace those affirmative statements that we truly believe by. It becomes part of your core value. So I thought it was important to take a moment to remind ourselves why. Why do we do these affirmations? And this quote from Henry Ford, whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right. And so the positive affirmations, yes, totally, Nicole, that positive feedback back loop, and it can break that cycle. Again, we've been talking about, if that droopy heart is shown up, what can we do to help that droopy heart feel lifted? So that's why a page like this is so important. So I have a ton of beautiful, simple affirmations that you can draw from if you're just like not feeling words, because sometimes it's hard for those words to come, but also some other ways that we could look at this page. You could think of 9 people in your life and maybe write their name on each one of these envelopes. And what would the words be that each one of those people would tell you about you? Those 9 important people. What would they say based on the relationship you have with them? You can maybe go peek at those November intentions from page 9. What did you set up for yourself? What were you wanting to embrace? How can they inspire the affirmations that go in these letters of kindness? Or maybe flip back through these last couple of weeks and look at the things you've done and celebrate those little things about the things that you were able to accomplish. And I don't mean like the to-do list is looking good. I'm talking about, what did you say no to? How did you keep your boundaries? How did you create space to keep a healthy you? So celebrate those kinds of things. And then you can always flip this around. Instead of writing messages for you, you could write messages from you to those people who embody kindness that are so meaningful to you. So, if you're not feeling like you want some personal affirmations, maybe what would the words of affirmation be to 9 people in your life? So let's work on this page, and please share in the chat as things are coming up for you, because I know that we'll be able to inspire one another with how we fill in our letters of affirmation. I have one example. Only one person I saw has posted this in Sonder Club so far. So here is someone someone's examples of how they wrote it, but you're welcome to decorate your letters, to color code them, or to add color or put stickers around there. This again is your page, so do it in whatever fashion you find fulfilling. And yeah, let's get going with that and share in the chat. I hope that this activity helped you create affirmations that can be your go-tos on those droopy, harder days. The words that you needed to hear, and that you can, you can hear them for yourself. You don't have to wait on anybody else. So, thank you for taking moments to do that. In 2 days, we have an exclusive Our Sonder Fams Giving. I would love to invite you to come to that. It's a nominal fee, but we are really going to spend a beautiful evening together with a lot of reflection. I will share that we're going to do a little bit with our table imagery, who's at your table, and there'll be some fun stuff and some deep reflection during this time of year. So I hope that you guys can make that. I'm very excited to be spending a very intimate evening with our Sonder family doing that. So that's in 2 evenings from now. We would love to see anything that you've worked on tonight in Sonder Club. If you're comfortable, we'd love to have you share those in your weekly planner, or if you're on Instagram, maybe post and tag at Silk and Sonder as that kindness act for something that's so precious to all of us. Also, that shout out to our personal coaching. Make sure that that it might be time to create your holiday list if you haven't tried that out yet. Maybe you could do that. Maya's dropping links in the chat, including the YouTube link. If you don't have that saved, be sure to save it. This will be on there. And then there's our playlist from this evening. And I'm just really glad Maya and I loved hanging out with y'all. I hope that if you came here feeling a little heavy, that you're feeling lighter now. And if you came here and you were in a good place, that now you're in an even better place, and that we are all ready to do our part tomorrow as we embrace World Kindness Day and we make this world a little bit better with the Sonder family living out in this world. So thank y'all for taking time for this social tonight, and we'll see you soon.
I'd like to build the world a home and furnish it with love. Grow apple trees and honey bees and snow white turtle doves. I'd like to teach the world